Who interviewed you at YC?
We actually had two interviews. So YC generally does one interview. We had two. So total 7 or 8 people interviewed me. And I remember 5 or 6 of them. So Paul Buchheit, who's the creator of Gmail, John Levy, who's YC's general counsel. There were two more people with them in the first group who interviewed us. And it's like a rapid fire. They ask one question after the other, even if I have not finished answering or if they feel they got the answer. It's super fast. That's first 10-minute interview. Then the second 10-minute interview, we had Jessica Livingston, who's also the co-founder of YC, Aaron Harris, Dalton Caldwell.
Two separate 10-minute interviews, and they were group interviews. What I've read about YC is they're underwriting the founder, which makes all the sense in the world because you're going to learn, you're going to discover, you're going to have to pivot. And what they're trying to find is like, hey, does this person have the potential to be the next Mark Zuckerberg in terms of like disposition, grit, mentality? What do you think that they were trying to get at with those interviews? What qualities were they trying to uncover or measure?
I think they just want to understand founders' tenacity and the mindset of execution and how real the founders are. It's very counterintuitive, but a 10-minute rapid fire interview gives you a lot more insight into the founder than a very long 1 hour conversation. What they're trying to understand is how well this person know what they are currently building.
So they're testing for subject matter, not just tenacity. But how do they test on subject matter if they themselves don't come from the industry?
All YC partners review applications before their interview. So the process is you do a written application, you get selected for an interview, and then the 10-minute interview happens. So before the interview, all the partners who are interviewing you have read your application. So even if they don't have the expertise, they are very insightful and sharp at asking the right questions. In our case, I still remember this one particular question where they're talking about competitors and who still is going to compete with. What's the largest company that still can hope to become? What's the analogy? And I said Lending Club at the time. It had IPO'd at 10 billion valuation or something like that. And it's like, okay, Lending Club, like what's the valuation of the company? And I said, X is the valuation, Y is the stock price, so on and so forth. Paul Buchheit, I still remember, opened the computer and checked Lending Club's valuation and the stock price. And I was within 2 or 3% of what it was at that date.
I checked you on the spot.
And I could not have prepared for that. It was nowhere mentioned in our application or anywhere else. And I did not expect them to ask me about Lending Club's stock price.
You did that interview solo, or did you have a co-founder join you in that?
I had my co-founder, CTO, join me in that, and we had prepared like crazy for that interview. We write all the possible questions that Y Combinator can ask us. We write answers, airtight answers to those questions. As in, if I give you an answer, it should answer the question and it should not result in another question. And it has to be done within 15 to 30 seconds.
Be concise. You got to be concise, precise, on target, and answer at the appropriate level. Not too much, not too little.
Within 30 seconds, because they'll just cut you off after 30 seconds. They have 10 minutes, mind you. If you do 10-minute interview, 30-second question answer each, that's still a lot of questions they can get through.
So their goal at that valuation is to kind of remove duds, number one, right? They want to avoid false positives. They want to do a lot of checks, though, I would say, at that valuation, especially if you have traction. On the other hand, the selectivity rate for Y Combinator is very low.
Yeah, I don't know what it's now, but it was 1.2 or 1.5%.
Competitive than Harvard.
Yeah, for people like me who are immigrants who are applying for O1, extraordinary ability, and all these different types of visas, Y Combinator is more selective than Harvard.